It's not by chance that you're viewing this video. There's a reason you're here. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Trust the timing of your life and know that you're being led to where you're meant to be. As you stumble on this video, perhaps not by chance, it will serve to awaken your spirit. There is something profoundly significant about the way you walk, the strength of your character, and the steadfastness of your unwavering faith that heaven itself could not overlook. While countless others chose to take shortcuts, to compromise their values, or to surrender under pressure, you stood firm. You did not bend, you did not sell out, and you did not betray your calling. And now, because of that unwavering commitment, the blessing that has been divinely stored for you is finally on its way. Understand this clearly. What is about to unfold in your life is not simply a random outpouring of favor or a coincidence of timing. This is divine recognition. Heaven has seen every private sacrifice you made, every silent battle you endured, every tear you shed behind closed doors, and every moment you could have given up but chose not to. Your blessing is not merely a reward for what you have done, but it is also a crown for what you refuse to do, for the shortcuts you refuse to take, for the compromises you refuse to make, and for the values you refuse to abandon. Now, in this message, we will break this truth down into 7 powerful, spirit-filled chapters, each designed to carry you deeper into divine understanding. But before we embark on this journey together, let me urge you to pause for a moment and prepare your heart. Like, share, and subscribe. Not because this is just another piece of content, but because this is a message sent from heaven itself, a word of confirmation that your soul has been waiting for. If your spirit resonates with what you are hearing right now, then take it as no accident. It is not by chance that this message has found you. Heaven has aligned this moment to speak directly into your life. If this word is stirring something within you, type the number 77 in the comments. This is not an ordinary number. It is a sacred signal, a prophetic declaration that you did not fold under the weight of pressure, you did not fake your journey, and you did not sell your soul for temporary gain. Instead, you remain true, and now the blessing is being activated in your life. Understand also, this message is not for everyone. It is not for those who gave up on their calling, who surrendered their truth for convenience, or who abandoned the assignment God placed in their hands. No, this is a divine word for those who remain loyal, those who endured the refining fire, and those who stayed faithful even when no one was watching. And to those who remain until the very end of this revelation, something undeniable will take place in your spirit. A shift will occur. Clarity will begin to rise like the morning sun. Conviction will settle deep in your bones, and divine confirmation will grip your heart with a force that cannot be denied. This is not a one-time message that you listen to and forget. No, this is a living revelation. You must come back to it, listen again, and let your spirit drink deeply each time, because with every listen, a new truth will be unlocked. A new dimension of understanding will unfold, and a new blessing will be released over your life. Now let us begin this journey together. Or chapter 1. The world offered you comfort, but you chose the hard road. Chosen one, let us pause and reflect deeply on this truth. There were pivotal moments in your life when the world placed before you glittering opportunities, doors that seemed wide open, invitations that sounded like divine favor, platforms that promised recognition, and connections that appeared to guarantee instant elevation. These moments looked like the very answers to your prayers. You were shown a fast track to what you thought you had been waiting for: money, influence, status, recognition, and power. Everything in front of you was packaged to appear as if it were a blessing, but your spirit would not settle. Though it all looked good, it was not God. Though it sparkled, something within you discerned it was counterfeit. Deep inside, something sacred, something holy whispered to your soul, "This is not it." In that moment of discernment, you realized that what the world was offering came with invisible chains. To accept it, you would have had to dilute your truth, disguise your authenticity, compromise your values, and shrink yourself into a version that could fit the mold of others' expectations. The applause of men might have been loud, but heaven's silence would have been deafening. Yes, you had the chance to take the easy route. Yes, there were people around you urging you to say yes, to compromise just a little, to rebrand yourself, to shift your tone, to follow the trend. You could have built a name faster, gone further in appearance, and risen quicker in the eyes of the world. If only you had agreed to sell a small piece of your soul. But you did not. You walked away. You turned it down. You chose not the shortcut, but the sacred path. You chose the longer way, the lonelier way, the road that did not make sense to others, the path that came with silence, obscurity, and sacrifice. While others went viral, you went deeper. While others collected followers, you collected wisdom. While others chased platforms, you pursued sanctification. You were not being celebrated, you were being refined. You were not gaining recognition, you were gaining resilience. You were not becoming what the world could easily recognize, you were becoming what God Himself had ordained. There were moments, of course, when you wept in secret, questioning if you had made a mistake. You asked yourself if perhaps you had missed your moment, if maybe you were being too hard on yourself, if maybe those who told you to compromise were right and you were being left behind. But even in your doubt, heaven was at work. Even in your loneliness, heaven was watching. Even in your hiddenness, heaven was building something within you that the world could never give and can never take away. In spite of all the pressures, temptations, and seemingly attractive opportunities placed before you, you did not allow yourself to be swayed. You did not move out of impatience. You did not rush ahead of God's timing. And you certainly did not compromise or sell out your values in exchange for fleeting gain. Instead, you chose to place your confidence and trust in the quiet and gentle whisper of God's voice, even when that divine whisper appeared to be in direct conflict with the loud, demanding, and persuasive shouts of the world. And because of this, heaven itself took notice of your obedience and your restraint. On every occasion when you refused to accept what looked appealing and promising on the surface, but lacked purity and integrity at its core, God acknowledged it and marked it as faithfulness. Each time you turned away from something that would have drawn attention to you but lacked authenticity and sincerity, He honored your decision. What you were doing in those moments was not merely avoiding temptation or rejecting sin. Rather, you were actively demonstrating that you could be entrusted with something far greater. Not merely a visible platform to be seen by others, but a divine purpose designed to shape your destiny. And now, beloved chosen one, the reward that is about to enter into your life is not ordinary in nature, but holy, sacred, and divinely appointed. This blessing is not to be mistaken for a handout, for it is in fact a harvest that has come forth from seeds of faithfulness. It is not a bribe designed to win your loyalty, but rather a genuine breakthrough that shifts the very course of your life. It is not a short-lived moment of excitement or passing hype, but the beginning of a God-ordained movement that is directly connected to your destiny. The origin of this blessing is not rooted in the people you manage to impress or the applause you receive from man. Instead, it flows from the unchanging character of who you consistently remained in Christ. Because you did not compromise your values or sell out your integrity, the blessing that is now being released over your life will not betray you, exploit you, or destroy you. It will not collapse under the weight of trends, nor will it require that you alter your true self in order to maintain it. Rather, it will affirm the very identity of who you have always been and who God created you to be. You willingly chose the difficult and often painful road, the one that came with tears, with seasons of waiting, and with long stretches of uncertainty. Yet that very road also came with the refining fire that shaped your character and prepared you for what is now unfolding. Therefore, the blessing that is being revealed in your life at this moment is not rushed, not recycled from someone else's portion, and not dependent upon the approval or permission of man. It is divine in origin, appointed in time, and unstoppable in its fulfillment. For it was conceived in your obedience and not born out of selfish ambition. You refused to take the bait of quick and shallow success, and instead you chose to pursue legacy rather than the fleeting approval of likes or applause. You embraced the longer and more difficult path so that God could build within you something that carries eternal weight and unshakable value. And now that very path, the one marked by waiting, tears, and refinement, is leading you directly into something far greater, richer, and more glorious than anything you could have imagined for yourself. Chapter 2. The blessing that is now approaching your life is coming in a form that is entirely clean, uncorrupted, and pure, precisely because your hands have remained clean, chosen one. This next season that you are entering is not merely about the blessing you will receive. It is equally about the manner in which you are receiving it. You are not simply being blessed for the sake of gain. You are being vindicated, proven, and elevated in a way that cannot in any way be traced back to manipulation, hidden agendas, or deceptive strategies. The reason for this is clear. Your hands are clean. You did not climb by stepping on others or by diminishing their worth in order to raise your own. You did not engage in gossip, slander, or the tearing down of others as a way to create space for yourself. You refused to sell yourself as a mere image or brand in order to gain entry into rooms that were never designed with your spirit, your truth, or your calling in mind. You did not imitate what was popular or conform to what was trending just to appear relevant in a world that rewards imitation over authenticity. Instead, you chose to remain grounded, to walk in honesty, and to remain authentic in a society where authenticity is rare and integrity is too often mistaken for weakness. Yes, this path came with rejection. There were moments when you were overlooked because you would not compromise your principles and play dirty to advance. There were times when people avoided you because you were not desperate to belong, because you would not flatter egos in order to be included, and because you would not alter or dilute your truth simply to be more acceptable. You did not pursue shallow attention or fleeting clout. Instead, you pursued your higher calling. There were seasons when others mocked you for making such choices, moments when it seemed as though everyone else was advancing, gaining influence, and growing rapidly while you remained hidden, unnoticed, and unseen. You watched as people who cut corners received promotions, as those who compromised were celebrated, and as those who manipulated their way forward seemed to flourish while you continued to wait. In the silence of your waiting, you asked God in honest desperation, "Did I do something wrong?" But heaven's silence was not an indication that God had abandoned you or ignored your prayers. That silence was purposeful, for He was quietly preparing something on your behalf, something so pure, undeniable, and powerful that when it finally arrives, it will speak entirely for itself without you ever needing to defend your journey. The blessing that is now approaching your life is unlike anything you have experienced before. It is completely different in nature from what you may have seen or expected, because it is entirely clean, perfectly holy, and utterly free from manipulation, compromise, or human interference of any kind. No person, no organization, no brand, no social system, no influencer, and no gatekeeper can claim responsibility for what God is about to release over you. Because this blessing originates from a source far deeper than strategy, planning, or worldly scheming. It comes directly from surrender, obedience, and alignment with God's will. It is the kind of favor that flows naturally to those who did not chase fleeting opportunities or empty recognition, but instead faithfully pursued obedience and righteousness, choosing to remain true even in the midst of a false and corrupt system, even when every circumstance seemed to demand compromise or silence. Throughout your journey, you did not sell your voice in order to fit a market. You did not twist or dilute your message to appease algorithms or trends, and you did not silence or compromise your spirit simply to sound more acceptable to the world. Instead, you remained pure, honest, and authentic, even when doing so came at great personal cost. And now, in response to your faithfulness, God is about to bless you in a way that is equally pure, a blessing that is clean, untainted, undiluted, and undeniable. There will be no sorrow attached to what is coming. It will not drain or exhaust you to maintain it. It will not trap you in cycles of performance or obligation. And you will not be required to wear a mask, hide your identity, or compromise your integrity to remain in its presence. What God is giving you now is a blessing that will never turn into a burden. It is a gift that flows freely, sustaining you without diminishing your spirit. Moreover, this blessing is not only for your personal gain. Through it, you will represent something greater to those around you. People will observe your life and recognize that purity is still powerful, that it is still possible to rise without selling your soul, and that standing firmly in truth can still lead to elevation and influence. Your life will serve as proof that divine favor does not have to be obtained through deception, that true success does not require compromise, and that integrity can coexist with promotion. The world may have tried to convince you that staying clean was weak, that remaining authentic would leave you behind, and that survival demanded conformity or compromise. Yet now God is poised to make a public and undeniable declaration through your life, demonstrating what He does for those who keep their hands clean, those who refuse to bow to Babylon, those who resist corruption, and those who remain consecrated in spirit. You are not built by fleeting trends or empty popularity. You are carved by consecration. You are not positioned by the approval of people or systems. You were preserved by divine purpose. You were not promoted by human structures or manipulation. You were sustained and elevated by the power of the Spirit. And now, in His perfect timing, all that God has been preparing for you, because of your faithfulness, purity, and obedience, will manifest, proving that a life committed to integrity and surrender is always recognized and rewarded by heaven. Chapter 3. Those who once laughed at you, mocked your patience, or questioned your stillness are now beginning to see the wisdom and purpose behind the timing of your journey, chosen one. The truth is that this path has not always been glamorous or outwardly impressive. There were seasons when, from the outside looking in, it appeared as though your life was stuck, stagnant, or going nowhere. Unlike others, you were not constantly moving, posting updates, or hustling simply to be seen or recognized. People did not understand the depth of your quiet, and they often misinterpreted it. Some labeled your stillness as laziness, others mistook your peace for passivity, and still others whispered that you were too afraid to take risks. Many rolled their eyes, assuming you were making excuses, while some concluded that you had no clear direction or purpose. Yet what they could not see, hear, or feel was the reality unfolding in the silence of your preparation. While others chased recognition, applause, and fleeting opportunities, you were diligently pursuing revelation, divine insight, and the guidance of God. While they moved from one opportunity to the next in pursuit of visible progress, you remained rooted in obedience, making every decision with intention rather than impulse. You were not inactive but strategic, allowing every step to be guided by the Spirit rather than by the pressure of external expectation. Every pause, every moment of waiting was a response to divine timing and not to fear, hesitation, or doubt. You were not merely avoiding the noise of the world. You were being refined, trained, and strengthened in the quiet, preparing for the fullness of what God intended. No one witnessed the nights when you cried, asking God if you were moving too slowly. No one heard the prayers in which you questioned whether you had missed your moment or failed to act at the right time. No one felt the internal struggle between the desire to prove yourself and the determination to wait for the Lord. And yet, despite all of this, you chose obedience. You chose to wait when rushing might have brought fleeting applause, to remain still when movement could have gained temporary attention, and to remain hidden while others chased the highlight reels of their lives. You made these choices because you understood a profound truth. God's timing is not always loud, immediate, or flashy, but it is always perfect, precise, and fully aligned with His purpose. Now, the blessing that is arriving in your life is powerful enough to silence every voice that once mocked you. It is becoming a visible, undeniable testimony, a proof of divine faithfulness and patient obedience. Those very people who once questioned your path, doubted your timing, or assumed you were wasting your season are now witnessing the tangible results of what God has been quietly building in your life. The same individuals who whispered behind your back, rolled their eyes at your patience, or criticized your stillness are now watching in awe as the reward of your faithful obedience is revealed. And they are powerless to deny that God's plan has been unfolding exactly as it was meant to. The key truth you must understand is that this season is not about proving anyone wrong, nor is it about throwing your success in the face of those who doubted you, or seeking revenge against those who dismissed you. Instead, this is a season of vindication, a time when God is publicly honoring what He has been quietly preparing in your life, and a moment when heaven is declaring, "Now let me show them why I told you to wait." God is making it abundantly clear that your patience was not foolish, that your stillness was not weakness, and that your decision to refrain from rushing, compromising, or conforming was faith in action, wisdom wrapped in trust, and absolute loyalty to his guidance. Every refusal to compromise your pace, your values, or your voice has been noted in the spirit and has contributed to the positioning that is now coming to fruition. You were never lazy, you were loyal, you were never slow, you were strategically following divine instruction. You were not missing out, you were being positioned. Now the shift is occurring, and the evidence of your faithfulness and obedience is about to become undeniable. The fruit of your stillness, the rewards of your patience, and the blessing of your obedience are about to be seen in ways that cannot be ignored. This blessing is arriving precisely on time, aligned with God's perfect calendar rather than man's flawed schedules. And it will place you in spaces, opportunities, in rooms that others tried to force their way into but could not access through human effort alone. You will receive favor that others tried to fabricate, and you will live in abundance and overflow, not because you ran ahead or hustled to be seen, but because you chose to wait, to obey, and to remain hidden while God prepared the way. Those who once laughed, doubted, or dismissed you will have no choice but to acknowledge and respect what you now carry, for it comes from a realm beyond their understanding or belief. Yet even in the presence of this triumph, you are called to maintain humility, gratitude, and alignment with God's purposes. This is not a moment for vengeance, bitterness, or selfish flexing. It is a moment for fulfillment, for shining in obedience, and for bringing glory to God. You are not being elevated to shame, harm, or humiliate anyone, but to demonstrate the power of divine timing, faithfulness, and purity of heart. The final truth is that if you had rushed, compromised, or sought recognition according to the world's standards, you would have forfeited the very blessing that is now being released. But because you waited, because you obeyed, and because you remained hidden in seasons when the world did not understand, the blessing has arrived, fully prepared and perfectly timed, and the wait was worth every single second. Chapter 4. You have maintained your integrity even when doing so came at great cost. Chosen one, and one of the most difficult, repeated decisions in your life has been to preserve that integrity despite the constant pressure, temptation, and discouragement from the world around you. Integrity is costly. It is not something that can be claimed lightly with words alone, but rather it is proven through consistent, faithful action over time. And for you, that commitment has demanded significant sacrifices. It has cost you opportunities that seemed promising, relationships that once felt essential, and invitations to spaces where compromise was the entry ticket. There were countless moments when you could have advanced more quickly, impressed others, or gained recognition if only you had been willing to compromise just a little. But you chose not to. Instead, you stood firm when it would have been easier to bend, spoke truth even when a lie would have protected your reputation, and walked away from situations that would have made you appear stronger in the eyes of men, but weaker in the eyes of God. Yes, these choices came with pain. Integrity sometimes leaves you empty-handed. It often meant maintaining silence when you longed to speak. It sometimes required being misunderstood, misjudged, or even mistreated. Yet in the midst of these challenges, you held fast to a principle that many forget. While integrity may cost you in the short term, it protects, preserves, and honors you for life. There were moments when you observed others advancing through compromise, when you saw people being celebrated for falseness, when the loudest, most opportunistic voices claimed platforms while you remained in quiet, wondering if doing things the right way was even producing results. But what they fail to realize is that heaven does not operate on hype, that God does not reward manipulation, and that the kingdom of God does not move based on clout, applause, or popularity. Instead, it moves according to character, faithfulness, and obedience. Every time you chose to walk away from what was not aligned with your spirit, every time you relinquished something you could have taken by force, and every time you honored God in private, when no one was watching or applauding, heaven was taking careful note. You did not merely speak about integrity, you lived it consistently and faithfully, proving through your choices, actions, and sacrifices that your character cannot be compromised. And because of this, God has been recording and preserving your faithfulness, ensuring that the reward for your unwavering integrity is being prepared and positioned to honor you fully in ways that are both visible and eternal. Now, chosen one, the shift is coming. God is about to reward the integrity that cost you so much. He will fill the hands that stayed empty so you could keep your soul clean. He will restore everything you walked away from and more. This blessing is not temporary or conditional. It is real and eternal. It cannot be taken away because it is based on who you truly are, not on what you pretended to be. Your integrity has become the soil where God is planting your harvest. Because the soil is pure, the fruit will last. Because the roots are deep, your rise will be steady. Because your motives were clean, your name will be protected. Some people gain success through manipulation, but they struggle to keep it. Some people gain followers by lying, but they are trapped by their own mass. You, however, are about to rise with peace. You will grow without guilt and expand without ego. God trusts you. He saw the times you could have compromised but didn't. He saw the tests you faced and how you did not break. He saw you choose truth over trends, character over convenience, and righteousness over recognition. Now your time has come. The integrity that once cost you is about to crown you. The character that made you feel behind is now setting you apart. The standard you live by, even when it was hard, will become your signature. It will show the world, this one didn't fold. This one didn't fake it. This one feared God more than man. Get ready. Your harvest is more than a reward. It reflects the honor you carried when nobody was clapping. When this blessing arrives, the world will not just see what you have, they will feel who you are. They will know that kind of favor only comes from heaven. Chapter 5. They sold out for claps, but you waited for the crown, chosen one. In a world where everyone is rushing to be seen, you choose to wait to be sent. That choice was costly, but it is why you are being crowned this season. You watched people chase platforms. You watched them change who they were to become popular. You saw them compromise their truth to get ahead. They gave up their message, their voice, and their values for the approval of crowds. Those crowds did not truly care about them. The people received claps, but the claps did not last. They became trends, but the trends changed quickly. In their rush to be seen, they lost themselves. But you chose a different path. You did not care about the sound of applause. You listened to the voice of God. You were not tempted by quick attention. You focused on eternal purpose. You were not seeking fame. You were seeking fulfillment. The enemy tried to tempt you. He showed you opportunities that looked exciting but were empty spiritually. He offered shortcuts. These shortcuts would have made you look better, but would have harmed your soul. Yes, there were times you thought about it. You sometimes felt left behind and unrecognized. You were tempted to do what everyone else was doing, but something inside you would not allow it. You could not fake what God made real in you. You could not dress your gift in costumes just to be accepted. You could not trade your calling for applause. You were not made for performance. You were made for purpose. This meant seasons of being invisible. You were hidden while others were celebrated. You were quiet while others went viral. You were still while others rushed into places you knew you were not called to go. But now things are changing. The shift is happening. This is not because you compromised. It is because you were consecrated. God kept you hidden. He did not do it to punish you. He did it to protect you. God knew the weight of your calling. He knew the power in your voice. He knew that what He put in you could be misused if exposed too early. You were not overlooked. You were protected. Now, because you waited, because you did not sell out, because you refused to be something you are not, you are being crowned. This crown is not from people. It is not temporary. It is not a trend. It is spiritual. It is eternal. It is backed by heaven. You are not being promoted for your image. You are honored for your integrity. You are not celebrated because you played the game. You are elevated because you stayed true. The people who laughed at your silence will now hear your voice. The people who thought you were too slow will now see how far God is taking you. The doors you refused to force open are now opening for you by God's hand. This is divine recognition. This is holy promotion. This is the reward for saying, I will be hidden in obedience rather than famous in disobedience. When people ask how you did it, you will not need to explain. Your life will be the sermon. Your character will be the message. Your crown will confirm you were always chosen. You did not wait for man to validate you. You waited for heaven to crown you. That moment has now arrived. You are not just being seen, you are being sent. You are not just applauded, you are anointed. You are not just invited into rooms, you are entrusted with territory. Because you waited for the real thing, God is about to give you everything. Chapter 6, God trusted you with rejection because he wanted to test your loyalty. Chosen one, let's go deeper. The rejection you faced was not random. It was not only the cruelty of people or the harshness of life, it was part of God's plan. God was not punishing you, he was proving you. You were not just being shut out, you were being set apart. You were not just losing, you were being refined by fire. What looked like abandonment was actually an audition for elevation. Rejection is one of heaven's most misunderstood gifts. It does not come with applause. It does not come with an explanation. It does not feel good. It does not look spiritual. But it is sacred because it tests what applause cannot measure: your loyalty. God allowed doors to close. He allowed the phone to stop ringing. He let certain people walk away. He even allowed your name to be forgotten. He did not forget about you. He was watching you. Heaven was paying close attention during those silent seasons. Would you still believe when nothing was happening? Would you still give when you had very little to give? Would you still stay pure when it seemed like compromise was being rewarded all around you? You did not just face rejection. You stayed righteous in the middle of it. You did not let it poison you. You did not let it harden you. You did not pretend to be someone you were not just to feel accepted. You served when no one was clapping. You prayed when it felt like your prayers hit the ceiling. You gave love when all you received was silence. You stayed faithful, not because of results, but because of your relationship with God. You were not performing for a platform. You were obeying out of love. That is why you passed. Chosen one, your rejection was never about who left you. It was about what God was preparing to entrust to you. Because anyone can stay loyal when people praise them, but few can stay loyal when people overlook them. You did not give up. You did not pretend. You did not change to fit someone else's expectations. You did not water down your gift to please people who could not handle your calling. You stayed consistent. You stayed pure. You stayed grounded. Heaven noticed. Loyalty is not loud, but it is powerful. It does not trend, but it transforms. It may not be celebrated immediately, but it is rewarded for eternity. The next promotion coming into your life will not depend on branding, marketing, or manipulation. It will not come from your connections or influence. It will come from God's covenant with you. The covenant you honored when it was hard, lonely, and uncertain. This is not just another opportunity. This is a divine release. God will give you visibility because he saw how you handled invisibility. He will give you a favor because you stayed faithful when it seemed like you had none. He will pour blessings into your life because you did not compromise to get what he could give you in his perfect timing. This blessing is not temporary. It is not short-term. It is permanent. It is preserved. It is prophetic. You did not sell out. You stayed loyal, not just to your calling, but to your character. You stayed loyal to the truth God planted in your soul. You stayed loyal to the voice he gave you and the assignment you refused to abandon. You passed the test with your hands and with your heart. Heaven is saying, this one can be trusted with more. You were trusted with rejection, and you did not become bitter. You were trusted with isolation, and you did not fall apart. You were trusted with silent seasons, and you did not chase noise. You were tested and found faithful. Now, chosen one, watch God open the doors that man tried to close. Watch him elevate what others tried to bury. Watch him reward what you did in secret. The reward will be public, permanent, and undeniably divine. Chapter 7. This blessing is not just a reward, it is a release. Chosen one, let this truth sink into your spirit. What is coming to you is not just a blessing, it is a release. This is not just heaven saying, well done. It is heaven saying, now go. It is time you are not just being rewarded for enduring. You are being released into the next level of your calling. This is not just about finally receiving something you have waited for. This is about being unleashed into what you were born to do. There is a big difference. Some blessings feel like gifts, but this blessing, this season, feels like alignment turning into reality. It is the moment where divine timing, your preparation, and God's plan come together. The doors are opening wide. You did not just wait, you stayed ready. You did not just survive the wilderness, you let it prepare you. You did not just stay still, you stayed anchored. Now heaven is not just giving you things, it is giving you territory. There are doors you do not have to knock on. They are already opening. There are rooms you do not have to campaign for. They are being prepared for you. There are resources on the way that are already assigned to your obedience. There are divine connections waking up because your faith has activated alignment. This is not just a payout. God is not giving you a blessing just because you suffered. This is a strategy. This is a spiritual design. Everything is happening at the right time. God did not just record your obedience, He scheduled your release. Heaven works by timing, not by emotion. Now that the test is passed, now that your loyalty is proven, now that you have shown integrity in obscurity, heaven is unlocking the vault. You have been hidden long enough. You have been quiet long enough. You have been restrained, refined, and prepared. Now God is saying, let them go. They are ready. This release is not random. It is not chaotic. It is not rushed. It is righteous. You are being released into your rightful place. You are being released into the position God anointed you for before the world was created. You are being released into power that no man gave you. No man can take it away. You are being released into a level of provision that reflects not just what you need, but what you are called to build. You are being released into a flow where you do not have to force, fake, or fight. Favor is flowing freely. This blessing is more than a personal victory. It is a public display of what heaven has been preparing in private. This blessing is not just for you. It affects legacy. It will impact generations. This shift will awaken others. When a chosen one walks in their release, everything around them begins to change. You did not sell out. You stood out. You did not dilute your message. You deepened your mission. You did not compromise for access. Now God is giving you access without compromise. No gatekeeper can block what is sealed with your name. No opposition can delay what is already assigned to you. No counterfeit can replace what is reserved for you. This is the moment the enemy feared. This is the moment your waiting becomes walking. This is the moment your obscurity becomes overflow. This is the moment your preparation meets prophetic release. It was never just about reward, it was always about reigning. You will reign not with ego, but with authority. You will reign not with pride, but with purpose. You will reign not for likes, but for liberation. Your voice is not coming forward for entertainment. It is coming forward for deliverance. Your gift is not being elevated for vanity. It is being elevated for victory. Walk into this release boldly, chosen one. Do not question if you deserve it. Do not doubt if it is real. This is not hype. This is holy. This is your time. This is your release. No one can stop what God has already said yes to. And if you're still hungry for more chapters to this journey, or a visual concept for a video or thumbnail, just say the word. I'm here and ready to help bring it all to life. Thanks for watching. Here ends this video. Take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. If you find this video interesting,